Hello and welcome to Wolfman Gaming. This is my Sekiro Shadows Die Twice complete walkthrough, and this is episode 1, which I have dubbed Becoming the One-Armed Wolf. And in this game you play as Sekiro, a shinobi and a bodyguard to a boy called Kuro. And Kuro has been kidnapped. And you have been thrown in jail, and we have just escaped, and we are gonna get to our master and try to get out of this place. And this being a complete walkthrough, so I will show you how to get all the upgrades to your healing flask, all the upgrades to your life bar, and all 4 endings to this game. There are 4 different endings, and some of them are, or 2 of them are really easy to get, and 2 of them demand you take on side quests, specific side quests, and I'm gonna show you every step of the way in unlocking these. I will also show you how to get all the basic prosthetic tools to your left arm that you will get a bit into this. But first here we meet up with Kuro, and he gives us our healing flask, and you will try to give back something called Kuro's charm. Make sure you keep this. First choose give Kuro's charm and then keep it in your care. Because if you refuse to keep that with you, you give it back to Kuro, say no master, keep this fucking thing, it will make the game harder, because then you have to do perfect deflects or else you will take chip damage to your health. And the first thing, you may see that my health bar, I have just a sliver of health. That's what you start with, and very soon, right about now, I have full health. When you run out of his room, make sure to let the first enemy kill you. Because that will let you start with a full health bar. Because we are gonna take on the tutorial boss called Leader Shigenori Yamauchi. And since you only have 1 heal here, you may need it during that fight. Because combat in this game consists of 2 things. You have, or enemies have, a health bar, and they also have a posture bar. When you attack them, or when you do perfect deflects, their posture bar will build up. And when their posture bar reaches max, you can do a death blow indicated by a red dot on them. And you may need to heal during this fight. I take 1 hit, I think. See his posture bar right there in the middle. He tries to block, but it goes up every time you attack, every time you do a perfect deflect. Or even if you do an unperfect deflect, I think it increases a little bit. But you also have a posture bar down there in the middle of the screen. And if your posture bar reaches max, you will get staggered, and that can lead to some quite terrible consequences. I don't think there are any enemies that have an instant kill attack, but sometimes if your health is low enough, a regular hit will do. Because enemies do quite a big damage in this game, so you're gonna have to get into how it works. But I will be with you every step of the way, and I will do my absolute best to help you get through this game. And what we are doing now is we are heading for a secret passage out of here. Kuro instructed us that we need to go over here and whistle for him. So we do that. And this is a secret path out of the Ashina reservoir. And now we're gonna go into a boss fight against Genichiro Ashina. You cannot win this fight. Or you can win if you're really skilled, but the end result will still be the same. You will lose your arm and the game will continue. I just go on the offensive. I always want to do at least one attack that makes contact with Genichiro, because it's a matter of principle. Not just gonna go down without a fight. But after you lose and you get your arm chopped off, you will wake up here and you will meet this guy called the Sculptor. And he is the one that has fitted you with the prosthetic left arm, and that is a grappling hook. And as I said, we will also unlock prosthetic tools for it, which are different types of weapons, mostly. And some of them are really great. There is a trophy for upgrading all of them to max, which you will not be able to do in one playthrough. You actually have to play through most of a second playthrough to get the last upgrades. But I will show you how to get all the basic versions. And then if you want to upgrade them from that, it's completely up to you. I'm gonna upgrade some of them a little bit, but that is a lot further on in the game. Either way, this is the Ashina outskirts. And since you are a shinobi, whenever you can, always use stealth tactics. Whenever you sneak up behind an enemy, you can do an instant death blow. You will see that red dot indicator, and if you reach them from the air, you can do a air death blow. Whatever it's called. Jumping death blow. And we're gonna use that a lot, especially in the beginning, because you always want to try to get the drop on them. Because if you don't, and your battle skills aren't up to scratch, you will die. And talking about the combat, or stealth attacks, but either way, when you're in full-on combat, sometimes enemies will do something called perilous attacks. And they are always preceded by a red kanji sign showing up over Sekiro's head, which is his version of a spider sense, which will show you that a perilous attack is coming. These can usually not be blocked. I think something can be, but then it's almost like a frame perfect. If it is a thrusting attack, a bit later on we're gonna unlock a skill called Nikiri Counter, which we're gonna use to counter those out. But when it is a sweeping attack, and I'm talking about this now because we will soon face a mini-boss who likes to do those. When it is sweeping attack, jump over it, and when you're in mid-air, press the jump button again, just over an enemy. Because then you will stomp on their head and build up more posture. And here is the shuriken wheel, which is the first prosthetic tool, and we are gonna bring it back to the sculptor later on to unlock it and fit it to our left arm. But when you get over here, sneak around the left, because Kavorada, the first mini boss, is down to the right. And now I'm gonna show you some of his attacks. He has the sweep, where you jump and stomp on his head and follow it up with 2 swings. He has a grab, you can just jump out of the way. And if his posture bar builds up and you're too passive, he'll do that, where he buffs and drains his posture bar. But we jump down, do a death blow, and suddenly he only has 1 health bar left. He does sweep, jump, hit. Very easy as soon as you get the timing down, and be aggressive in this fight. Whenever you get a window, start charging, or start swinging at him. And when he does that buff, immediately interrupt him. Deflect, with a sweep, jump, hit him, down he goes. He actually killed me a few times on my first run. So if you die, don't despair. He is hard. He may have looked very easy right there, but he is hard. This game is very demanding on you. You are gonna have to really learn how combat works if you want to master this. But I will be here, as I said, and try to make it as easy as possible. And going into this area, always go down here first and stealth kill this guy. And then we're gonna move up onto this house and we're gonna stealth kill another guy. And the reason we take out these two guys first is because they have rifles. And rifle enemies in this game are super snipers. They can clock you from across an entire battlefield. So if there is a combat situation where there are rifle people or guys with bows, they should be your first priority. They are really easy to take down. They die really easily. They have no means of blocking you properly. So always take them out. And that went well. Went for an air death blow, didn't work. But after you've killed those two guys, I like to take on these two. And two guys decide to join the party, so we flee. And the place I'm going now was the roof we were just on. So we circle around here and go up on this roof and up on this roof. This is a great place to hide out until the enemies lose track of you. Because here at the beginning you're gonna want to use these guerrilla war tactics. Go in, kill one or two and flee before you get more into the game. Because this game is hardest at the beginning, I would say, because you don't have a lot of healing items, you have a really small health bar, and you're not used to mechanics just yet. So it will get easier over time, I think. But now we're gonna go down here, because here is Big Boy, and you definitely want to stealth kill him. You do not want to engage him in full-on combat. I think those guys are really hard. You can block their attacks, they have nothing fancy, but their attacks are quite slow, so I find it hard to get the timing down on the parry, and when they hit, they hit. They hit really hard. It's like trying to face tank a fucking freight train. Especially at the beginning of the game. But here is the last guy. So we just clock his ass. We go on the offensive. He tries to sweep, we just block because I'm a Sekiro god, baby. No, I'm not. But now that everyone is dead, we're gonna talk to a little old lady over there in the house. But before we talk to her, we're gonna run down here and pick up 3 coin purses. That's 2, and that's 3. And coin purses are a way to bank your money in this game. First, we're gonna talk to her and get a bell charm. Because in this game, when you die, you can revive once. And there will be no repercussions for doing so. If you die the second time, you will lose half the experience points you have gathered towards your next skill point. And you will also lose half the money you have gathered. And that is quite punishing. I'm not gonna use super much money in this game. We're gonna grind twice in this game, and the first time we're gonna get the amount of money we need to buy all the stuff I'm gonna buy in this game, basically. But coin purses are a way to bank your money. There are 3 different types. There is light coin purse, which contains 100 gold or 100 sen. There is a heavy coin purse that contains 500, and there is a bulging coin purse that contains 1,000. And these coin purses can be found throughout the world, and they can also be bought from some of the salesmen in this game. And a light one costs 110, a heavy costs 550, and a bulging costs 1100. And that may seem like a losing deal, but it's a way to ensure that your money is safe. Because a coin purse is considered an item and you don't lose items upon death. And you want to have 500 gold before you talk to this guy. And I have 494. So I'm gonna go down and try to kill an enemy. A safer way would be to sell. I picked up some ceramic shards which you can use to lure away enemies. I think it is a shit item. I never use them. I tried to use them once during this recording and you will see that it is a completely useless item. So I tried to go down and stealth kill one guy, and as you saw, it went completely pear-shaped. So I had to retreat a little bit. I got 21 gold, and then we can head back up to the vendor once again. And from this vendor, we're gonna buy Robert's firecrackers, which is another prosthetic tool, and I think a lot of people that have played this game would agree with me that it is one of the two most absolutely overpowered prosthetic tools in this entire game. And throughout this walkthrough I will show you exactly what I mean, because it is a great item and I really like the fact you get access to it really early on. But you can also completely miss this guy, because that path you saw me go up is the only way to reach him. And it's really obscure that you're supposed to go up there. But either way, we have the firecrackers, and now we're gonna move on a little bit. And I'm gonna start a little side quest. I'm gonna talk to another vendor called Anayama the Peddler. And his side quest is the only one, or is the only one I do. It's not correct. It's one of the few that I will do. I'm not sure exactly how many side quests there are in this game, but this one I think is worth doing because that will expand his inventory. And here is Anayama. And once again, I am short stacked when it comes to money. First, you have to pay him 10 sen to get some information. And when I first played this game, it cost 100 sen. They patched that. They nerfed it in a patch, which is a good thing because 100 sen is quite a tall order. But we just run out, we kill these two guys, and we will have sufficient funds. And you may hear some groaning. That is a mini boss which we're gonna take on later. But either way, we go back and we purchase some information. And then will ask you if you want to purchase some more information, but we're gonna skip that. We're gonna back out. And we're gonna go up to the sculptor's idol and rest. And we're gonna go back and talk to him again. This is very important, that you need to rest in between or leave the area. There has to be a loading screen in between. So we rest here. I even rested twice, I think. And we go back down to him. And as I said, his side quest will expand his inventory quite a bit. So now we can't buy anything because I am out of money. And I'm not gonna purchase information. Instead we're gonna back out. And he's gonna ask you. He wants to know what the soldiers need. What the soldiers want. So we're gonna eavesdrop on some soldiers later on, which will expand his inventory a little bit, and then we're gonna do another little side quest that will expand it even more. And now we've gone back to our hub. Emma here is the one you should go to with your gourd seeds. We got one from Kabarada, and that will increase the times you can heal with your flask. And we also got a prayer bead. 4 prayer beads will transform into a prayer necklace, which will increase your life bar.
What is it?
And after all that, we go and talk to the sculptor. He will give you the Shinobi esoteric text, which contains fighting skills that we can use to upgrade Sekiro later on. And we're gonna fit our 2 prosthetic tools. The loaded shuriken and the Shinobi firecracker. And also equip them immediately. Like so. And we're gonna go over to this little Buddha statue, and that was some shitty editing on my behalf. When you go over to that Buddha statue, after having talked to the little lady and gotten the young lord's bell charm, you will be transported 3 years back in time to a place called the Hirata Estate. And here we will also pick up, I think it's 3 different prosthetic tools, and we're gonna kill some bosses here as well. But I'm not gonna venture too far into this place in this episode. I have tried to keep these episodes in between 25 and 30 minutes because I think that is a reasonable amount of time. And here, stealth kill. Always go for the stealth kill when you have the opportunity. And we're also gonna talk to a carp salesman, which is a completely wrong term. Jump over here to the left side and we'll pick up a carp scale. Because there is a really odd fellow living down here in this lake or river or whatever it is, who wants to become a great carp. And he will sell you things for carp scales. He does not accept money. The only thing he's interested in are those scales. And when you buy stuff from him, that is gonna help you kill a boss way on into this game. We need to spend 7 scales in his shop. And he also does sell some good stuff. And first I'm gonna try to take out these wolves. This fight is actually a bit embarrassing. Because I watched this video before I started narrating it, and I realized this is fighting skill 0. This is almost like, you know, that last fight in my Plague Tale blind playthrough? When I needed to get into the church to face the final boss and I was stuck in a place for like 20 minutes. It's almost that level of badness. I just face tanked that torch. And there you also see the kanji sign, which shows you that a perilous attack is coming. But we are gonna get, as I said, the Mikiri counter, which is a really great skill. Whenever an enemy does a thrusting attack, we will block it and just punish his ass for trying to do it. Over here is 1 enemy and a wolf. So take your shuriken wheel and take out the wolf. Your prosthetic tools use something called spirit emblems. You see I have 5 down there in the right corner of the screen. You can purchase spirit emblems at Sculptor's Idols, and I recommend that whenever you have some spare money, especially early on in the game, spend it on spirit emblems. You will find them throughout the world. You can drop, enemies can drop them when they die. But sometimes, it happened to me on my practice run, I realized I had almost 0 spirit emblems left. And they will refill. You can have 15 right now. That's the base value. And whenever you rest at a Sculptor's Idol, it will refill. But only as long as you have spirit emblems in your inventory. But at the beginning of the game, they cost 10 sen each, or 10 gold. I'm gonna refer to it as gold because it's easier to say. They're gonna cost 10 gold each. And later on in the game they will cost 30, and towards end game they will cost 50 gold each. And that is quite an increase in price. So try to stock up on them here at the beginning of the game, but I think you can get quite far into the game before they start costing a hell of a lot. But now we are inside the Hirata estate, and here we find a sculptor's idol. So I'm gonna end the first episode right here, but before we part ways, I wanna welcome you to this walkthrough. I hope you will enjoy it. Most of all, I hope you will find it helpful, and as always, I wanna thank you very much for watching, and I will see you again in my next video. So until next time, this is the Wolfman signing off.